I've been running this Steiger for a while now, and just to get the feel of it, and it's pretty phenomenal. The amount of power that this thing has is incredible. And what's also very amazing, compared to the 620, this thing here throttles up and is more responsive, I feel, in my opinion, more responsive than the 620. So this has got the 16-liter motor in it, which is a pretty stout motor. You know, they put them in combines, but now it's in a Steiger, and they revamped it and made it designed for this tractor. And it's solid. It's awesome. Now, what I'm running right now is 5.4 mile an hour. I'm going about 1540 RPM in 7th gear, and I'm at 28% engine load. Pulling a 70-foot air drill with a 550 bushel cart, and it's not even sweating. But overall, I like it. I like it a lot. It's comfortable. I love the 1200 monitor. I just wish it could stay. I mean, it's pretty smooth. The shifting, the visibility, and you would think with such a massive hood that visibility would be a little questionable. No, you got tons of visibility, and they did a great job of hiding the exhaust and the intake as well, and it's nice. I like it. But this is it's a big tractor, very big tractor. Oh, look at that thing. Man, that front end's growing on me. Wow. It looks so mean. Oh, it's just huge. All right. It's a little different this time around. I haven't even driven it yet. The guys have been running it. So, I'm kicking leg arms off. I'm taking over the reins. Let's see what 715 horsepower is all about, with the occasional boost of 778. If I happen to find a way to work it that hard. I don't know how I'm going to do that, but we got some things in mind. We'll maybe figure it out here in a little bit, but yeah, let's run it. Got it. Welcome to the cab of the 715. It's amazing. That engine's pretty quiet in here. Hardly can hear it. So, how do we get started? Well, first, get the steering wheel where you want it. Lever right there, pedal, touch it, put it in place. Got my fan running already. The ISO's up here, so we got our cart, the 3555 cart. Looks like our fan's running about 35 or 3600 RPM. We're running off the back tank for our seed for winter wheat, and let's get rolling. So, we've got a clutch pedal down here. Push it to the floor, and then he's in park. Let's put it in drive right there. Then second, he said he's been seated in 7th gear, so I'm going to hold shift button on the back of the multifunction handle right here, and I'm going to tap up to 3, 4. That'll put me in odd gears, 5, 6. Should we try starting off in 7? I think we should. Let's do it. Okay, here we go. Oh yeah, no issue at all. There we go. Okay. Just lock onto the GPS with that button right there. And then I believe he said 5 and 7 are our depth. Yep, that's working. And set it in the ground. All right, let's run the RPMs up a little bit. We're at 1380. Let's go to about 1500. 5.2 miles an hour. That's about right. That's where we want it. All right, so we're going downhill. The drill is set fully in the ground, all 70 feet of it. And we are using 21% engine load, 23. We got a small hill here. We'll see what it does when we get to that. So, we are not working this tractor very hard right now. Oh, all right. We need more drill. Well, we'll just keep going. So, cresting up that hill, we just hit 34% engine load. 34. Let's give her the beans and see what happens here. 103%. Woo! We made it. All right, back down. Okay, let's get her down to. Let's go. Let's just bring it back to like an idle and see what happens. Can we see it in 7th in an idle, or will it kill it? Is it torquey enough? It's pulling still. 15% engine load. I've got it at 800 RPM at 3 miles an hour. Can we go even slower than that? Oh, well, I got a downshift. But then it would, yeah, then we're not using those upshift. Because well, this is a very, very non-scientific way to test the torque of this tractor at 850 RPM, but I'm just gonna shift up a bunch into some higher gears with it at idle, and let's just see how well it pulls. All right, bump it up. 9, 11, 12, and we're not quite there yet. Let's go a little more. 13. All right, so we're on 6 miles an hour in gear 13. We are using some more horsepower now, 28%. This is absolutely not how you should run a tractor, because it'll lug it. So let's go ahead and bring it back. Yeah, I know, the tank's low. We'll get that figured out in a second here. All right, we'll rev her back up again. There we go. All right. Been about a year since I've driven the 620 quad, hooked up to the same air drill as this. I'm trying to remember, but I'm pretty sure it would not have done that. It probably would have lugged down, and I would have had to put the clutch in, or it would have kicked itself out of gear. So that's definitely showing it's got some high torque at low RPM, but the higher RPM is where it's really at, obviously. So let's twin turbo it. 7 miles an hour. 9. Oh boy. Okay. Yep. Bring it back a little bit. Bring it back. In the 715 cab, you guys have seen I've been using this. It's called the multi-function handle, accelerating engine RPMs. If I press forward, higher RPMs, pull it back, lower RPMs. Basically my power stick. Auto guidance right here. These are your remotes. So 5, 7, 6, 8. Those correspond with your remotes here, which are your hydraulic remotes. They call them remotes. That's the hydraulic valves that throw oil to or from whatever implement you're using. You can also adjust them to run, I believe. Oh, yes, sorry. These are the remotes right here, too, so you can use these as well. So you can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 5, 7, 6, 8. However you want to set it up. Very customizable, which is really nice. But these buttons don't have to be remotes. They can be customized to be your radio or your lights or whatever you want to pick. It's up to you. This is another way to control your 1200. This is your Pro 1200 right here. So I can switch between run screens just by clicking this back and forth. It also has a clicker button, so I can click, bring up menus. If I can go to home, press the home button. So anyways, if you don't want to touch your screen, you don't like fingerprints on there, you can run it all right here if you feel inclined to do so. The orange button's right here. You can preset RPMs, so I can actually set the RPM to say 1500 RPM, record it in there, and then when I tap the button, the tractor will automatically throttle up to that RPM every time I tap it, just in case for some reason I want that. If you're running a PTO machine, something off the back, and you want like a grain cart and you want to unload at a certain speed, you can preset that. Over here, we've got PTO, engage and disengage. We've got some 3-point controls here. This does have a 3-point on it. It can lift 11 tons, which is significantly massive. So they're hidden conveniently under here. Audio has had an upgrade again, as if it wasn't good enough already. They brought in a subwoofer down here under the passenger seat. So I haven't tried it yet. I suppose I should probably do that and see if we can throw some beat down. Turn around again, and I'm not joking. There is no indication engine-wise through sound or RPMs fluctuate on there that I am set that toolbar back in the ground. Those are 3-inch openers on there, 12-inch spacing, so there's 70 openers in the ground. We're going about, I don't know, about 2 inches, 1.5 inches deep. Maybe a little shallower than that. But when I set that in the ground, this tractor doesn't make a single sound. It just keeps on driving like nothing happened. So your fuel rate's hovering around that 10.5 gallons an hour. Can't remember how that compares to, say, the 620. I just can't remember. You guys probably remember. Someone might know. But anyways, it's not terrible. I mean, for the kind of horsepower we've got and the engine that's running in here, it's not burning the fuel heavy. I'm sure it will, though, when you really get a load on it because it's got to get that energy from somewhere. But for this kind of work, it's doing just fine. I'm going to address something that people have suggested. The visibility has got to be just horrendous with this tractor. Honestly, it's a little wider. It is a little wider. The hood might be a little taller in the front, but they redesigned the exhaust on this because this is such a bigger engine. It burns fuel more efficiently, and in the process, the emission systems can be reduced some. So this exhaust muffler here and all this, the DEF system and everything right there, they were able to shrink up quite a bit. So really, I mean, I'm sitting right in line with my head, and that is what you see. And on the intake side, well, it's there. As you can see, it's right there. It's that big black thing right there. But when you sit back here, it's gone. So, I mean, yes, I would probably say there has been a little bit of visibility lost, but very minimal, and it's right there and right there. On the back of the tractor, I can see the drawbar down there. So I've got great visibility all the way down to the drawbar. So backing up to hook onto an implement, don't have to worry about where am I at and where that's at. The other thing too, which I'm gonna leave some awesome streaks in this field, but the steering, so smooth. So smooth. I mean, my pinky finger can do it, which I have really pathetic pinky fingers, so it doesn't feel like a bigger tractor driving it. It feels very nimble, very light, even though we're, I think, 12,000 pounds heavier than the 620. I could be wrong on that. Somewhere around that 70-some thousand pounds is what I briefly remember, or vaguely remember. But it turns just as sharp as the older generations as well. So you really you're not losing any of the performance as far as handling on the ground by going to more horsepower. I pulled up one of my run screens here, and it says we are using 0.3 gallons an acre average. And I believe the toolbar should be correct as far as the width that we're pulling here, because obviously the auto guidance has been set up correctly. So that should be accurate. 0.3 is very good. I think we figure our big buds run around 0.2 to 0.4, somewhere in that area. So right in the ballpark of this. So really this thing's burning no more fuel than our big buds do, which is, we consider them fairly efficient with fuel, which puts us into the definitely excellent category. We're all equipped with cameras on here. Let's see, we got a camera button here. I'm gonna pull it up. All right, so I think if I tap it, there we go. All right, so we've got back of the cab. So there's something right up here somewhere. There's a fisheye camera, seeing the implement being pulled. What do we have here? Okay, this is under the hood, on the front. That's a pretty cool shot. I like that. And what's this one? Oh, back of the camera again. I think that's it. Is that it? I guess that's it. All right, so we have two cameras, one in the front, one in the back. Now let's talk outside the cab for a minute and not about the tractor. This is peas from this year. So, look at that. I think I see, what is that growing? There's a whole bunch of green stuff growing there. I don't know what that is. Definitely not peas. With all that said, this was pea stubble. We had a pea crop on this. I can actually see a couple peas scattered here and there because they're nice white berries. You can actually see them. They're so little cover. And we're seeing this right to winter wheat. There's enough moisture to get this crop going. We're still really dry. I mean, there's not much in the ground. You dig down more than 6-7 inches and there's nothing. It's rock hard. I don't even know how deep you have to go to finally hit moisture. Feet, like 5-6 feet. I don't know. Anyways, with that, we need a big rain still. But we've got 4/10 2 weeks ago. This last week, and we had 2/10 of rain, just enough to keep that moisture in that seed layer, the seed bed, where we want it. So the plant will at least germinate, it'll sprout, it'll grow, hopefully get a nice rain before winter, and then hopefully go into the winter ready to go to a really rainy spring. I want to try something here. So let's turn. We were 1470 RPM. I'm going to see how much it changes when I lift the toolbar out of the ground and set it back in. All right, we're out of the ground. So it was 1470 is what we were pulling at. This is 1500 right now. This is about 30 RPM. Set the auto guidance. Toolbar is out of the ground. And I'm gonna set it in right now. All right, it's in the ground. So what, 10 RPM? We lost 10 RPM by setting the toolbar on the ground. Like I said, you don't even know you did it. Yeah, I had to look back a couple times, like, am I actually seating right now? I'm not sure. I believe we are getting pretty close to running out of seed. So I see leg arms right over here with the seed truck, and I'm just going to go ahead and pull over and let's get this thing filled up with some seeds. We can keep going. Conveniently, our seed is right there, which has just got to go into right here, so it can go into right here. Simple. So simple. Conveyors are pretty slick, tell you what. Move a lot of grain pretty fast with this. Doesn't take long. Finished up the last pass on this field. Well, second to last pass, because you can see not quite getting it all. 20 feet there or so left. So I've got my 35-55 sectional control on, so basically I'm only seating on the 30 feet of the right side, or the passenger side. So 1, 2, 3, 3 runs are seating there. This side's not seating. When I come back around, I'll turn it all on, and then this area that's not seated will be seated across the whole thing. So I figure 30 feet there, 20 feet there, that'll mean I have about a 10-foot overlap in the center, which is a lot better than going back over this with a full seating drill and overlapping all that and putting twice the seed in the ground. Make sense? It's a nice feature. I like it. Something I've been watching for a while now, and just out of curiosity, you see these hood vents. See them? There's 2 on the sides, there's one there, and then 2 on the top. And it's like, is that just for looks, you know? Is that just these vents just to kind of give that mean look? Or is it actually using that to push out hot air from the engine chamber? And it is. I can see the heat rising from around the hood. And I was just on the hood wiping it down to make it all pretty for the camera, because I do that kind of stuff once in a while. And I was laying on there and it burnt my stomach. It was hot. There was hot air coming out of those 2 spots. So yeah, those aren't just for looks. Those are engineered to help the heat escape that area right there. Huh. Well, that's a first. Never seen this happen before. I was like, that looks kind of funny. Why is it doing that? Let's go take a look. These duals right here on these casters. Look where that rock ended up. It bent the rim, and these wheels won't turn, or that wheel won't turn. I've never seen a rock get jammed there before. So let's, I guess let's back it up and see if it comes out on its own. It should. Should. Or I could just roll it out by hand. Seriously? Look at that. Well, I don't know. All right. I mean, all right, well, I guess, all right. Let's go.
All right, it's my turn to get into the 715 Quadtrac from CASE IH. It's new on the farm. We get it for a few days. We're going to, when I say we, he's begging to get on that. Yes. You want to go on this? You want to go on this, huh? Let me open the door first. Okay. All right, you ready? Okay. Okay, let's go. Ready? All right, keep going. Keep going. Keep going. You got it. You making it there. Okay, there you go. One more. There you go. Hi, Colby. What do you think? Huh? Huh? Yeah. Yeah, this has got that new tractor smell. So it smells awesome. So anyway, I'm just gonna start pushing buttons and pulling levers, and I guess we'll get going here soon. So what do you think? Yeah? You like the visibility? Huh? Do you? Yeah. All right. I'm gonna set the GPS for critters. You want to go see some rabbits? All right, let me go find on this for rabbits. Well, I've been seeing for a couple hours. Kobe's still alert. It's kind of like that alert alarm when he sees a varmint. Yeah, he's hoping. I don't think we're gonna see too many rabbits in this field. This was yellow peas at harvest time, and there isn't much residue because of the drought we had. But anyway, I was just gonna let you know something that happened with, I was seeding about an hour ago, and I was seeding along, and then I heard a change. You know, it a little bit in the engine. You know, I'm just kind of cruising along in my senior way, and I'm going, there is something different. There is something, and then I look over here. Right now we're going up a slight in-grade, and that's all the power that this engine is using to get there. Well, what was interesting about that is I looked at it, it was 94% engine power. I'm going, whoa, what's going on? Have I broke the drill back there or something? So I stopped and I went back there, and what had happened was a cable came loose that ties to the depth control on it, released this little pin, which then dropped it down as far as it could go. This baby, well, it's not a baby, this tractor was using almost all of that 715 plus a little more, and it was still tracking. I looked back there, and yeah, I mean, you could see where the tracks were slipping a little bit, but it was still moving. I happened to look, I said, what was going on, you know, but just before I looked at the engine load, and I was still going, I'm going right now about 5 miles an hour. I was going 4.9. I'm going, yeah, what is going on here? And then I noticed that it was still pulling with that 70-footer in the ground all the way down. I mean, it was going at least 6-7 inches deep. The shanks were pulling back, but this was still pulling. That would not happen with any of the other tractors that we have or have ever run. So kind of woke me up a little bit that you know, I need to pay attention to this engine power, because I won't know if something is pulling a lot harder, like that depth control stop on the 700 toolbar. Something like that happens. I got to right away look and see, hey, how much horsepower am I using? Because I can't tell in this big monstrous machine. So I thought I'd give you an update on that. We got it fixed. We're up and running. We're running around 21, 22%. So, and I'm coming to this road. I'm gonna crawl over this road really slow, lift it up. This is the road to Nick's house up there. So anyway, I'm gonna let you guys go. Okay, yeah, I got through that road, across the road. I lift the drills up, turn the air seeder off, seating wise, and then turn it back on again. I'm not as fast as my sons. They can do that and probably hold the camera at the same time. But anyway, yeah, so this tractor's really smooth, great response. The shifting is very, very smooth in this transmission. I know that CVT tractors are, and we have drove some a Steiger that had it, and it was like 5 something, about 500 horsepower. Anyway, it was awesome. I mean, you can't beat it. But this transmission, the way it shifts and the amount of speeds it has, you're not at a loss if you don't have that in this kind of horsepower. Besides this kind of horsepower with this solid transmission, it's an upgrade from the other ones that they run in the Quadtracs below. It's heavier, but shifts very smooth. You don't know when you shift, it's very fluid. So it almost seems like a CV transmission. And then you just find the horsepower, and I can shift this down to 4, run the RPM way up, or 5, and it won't change the engine horsepower. But I'm running around that about 600 or 1600 RPM. That way everything's got a lot of flow, coolant, air, the turbo. It's just running at a nice speed at 1600 RPM at 5 miles an hour. Seating is perfect. So yeah, I really like this tractor. And then of course Cubby likes it over our white tractors, our big buds, because he has great view. All right, we'll catch you in a little bit.